Hello, welcome. Today I wanted to talk about kind of an interesting topic for me, something I have a lot to say about and have a lot of experience in. And my life has just been very different over the past, let's say, year, with this specific subject and the way I approach it and the way I do things and all that jazz. So, yeah, let me preface. School used to be completely different than what I see it now. And I kind of just want to share a little bit of my experience, what that's like for me, what it's been like, and like honestly, if I could help one person or my story or what the shit, I've experienced when it comes to school, maybe it can help somebody. And what if it does? Um, but I graduated high school during the pandemic. Yeah, scariness. I was a senior 2020, so that just honestly fucked everything up. Like, genuinely fucked everything up. And I feel like people that also graduated that year can relate, where it's like, holy shit, that was not a good start to college. Um, so a little bit of my story with school. So it was like online, obviously, when I was going to school. So that's a big factor into this, where I'm like, you know, um, it was online, and I really wasn't rocking with online classes. I was like, yo, I really do well in school when I'm in person, when I am able to like be around people, when I'm able to like learn the shit hands on. It was online classes, not for me. No, no, no. So I was like, I'm gonna try it still. And I also was I was kind of very much in the air of like, the only knowledge I have about college is my sister, and she had a perfect experience. She got in the sorority, she fucking like knew exactly what she wanted to do. Like, girl had her shit set up, okay? And me, I was like, yo, what do I want to do? Don't ask me. I don't know. I had no fucking clue what I wanted to do. And I was just so confused. I was like, I'm going to college for what? So I started as a sociology major because I was like, my sister had a friend who was doing sociology, and I thought it was interesting. Like, I thought it was so fucking interesting, and I was like, that'll be sick as fuck. I'm gonna do that. I'll do social work, I guess, maybe, possibly. I also love psychology. Like, I still love psychology. Could it be my major in college? No, but I do love psychology, and I think it is the most interesting subject. And if I had it in my brain where I knew I could go get a master's and like, go further with my education, I would be in psych. I would be a therapist. I would go into the whole path. But I know myself that a bachelor is gonna be what it ends at for me. Sorry, like, self-awareness. Um, but anyways, I basically started sociology, and I was like, okay, like, chill vibes, like, I like this. It was really interesting, but it was also very, I don't know, it was just hard online. Like, I was just struggling. I was starting with like weird ass classes too. It was like a really weird mix. I don't know. I was fucking confused, right? I was like, what the fuck? I don't want to be in school, but I guess I will be, but it's also online. So just all these things. I was in a crazy mental state. Also, like, just absolutely crazy mental state. Like, not myself. Like, I don't know what the fuck that pandemic did to me, but something happened. No, I'm just kidding. But I think I was just kind of not in the mental state for school. Some people aren't, especially right after fucking high school ends. Like, how do you expect everybody to just be okay and just be like, college time, yippee, and be able to like know what they want? Like, oh my god, how the fact that society expects that is fucking berserk. Like, what? We expect everybody to get out of we expect everybody to get out of high school knowing exactly what they want to do, what path they want to take. Okay, not everybody has it like that. I'm so sorry. Like, that's insane. Anyways, enough on that. I go to school. I fucked everything up. I genuinely was like, I don't care. So I failed like probably like half my classes, I would say. I was struggling with online. I have really bad ADHD, okay? I cannot do that online shit, bro. I cannot do it. Like, the way that I learn is just so different than other people, and that's okay. But I just was like, how are you guys doing this? Like, I genuinely, it was making me go crazy. So obviously, naturally, I failed a lot of shit. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit, I'm not even going next semester. So I just like forgot to sign up for the next semester. I was debating going to a different school. I was like, maybe somewhere else will make me happy. My friends were all living in fucking Arizona, having the time of their life at their school, and I was like, bruh, this is so bad. I hate it. I just was not having the college experience I wanted. I was like, this is no. So last, I'm just like, I'm not signing up, and I just didn't sign up for the next semester. So that was crazy. I worked like 2 jobs, and I was like, okay, this will be fine, I guess, for now. So I feel like I'm productive at least. But I'm working at like fucking a pizza shop. I'm working at fucking. What else was I working? I don't know. A lot of my life I've always had 2 jobs at once. I don't know why. I don't know. I like variety, I guess. Anyways, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm like, fuck this shit. It's crazy. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and this is kind of wild. Like, what? Pandemic was also really in the weird area. Like, there was still a lot of craziness happening there. College was not like typical for, these people that were going to school at the same time I was going to school. Some people handled it real good. I didn't, Then I try to go back that year, and I move out. I'm like, I'm moving out. I got this. Like, the minute I get out of here, the minute I like am able to be in that environment, like, I'll do better. So I go to the school, the university, and did it get better? Absolutely not. I like genuinely just like fucked more stuff up a little bit, low key. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I couldn't do it. It was just like such a crazy, yeah, it was crazy. I think I also just, I wasn't in the right mindset for it. I didn't have the right perspective towards it. I was just like, bro, why the fuck am I here? I don't know what I want to do. So I guess I'll go for school for fucking psych or to sociology. I don't even know. I was so confused. That led to me, failing classes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Changing my major. I changed it at least 4 times. And I've actually heard this is a lot of people my age have changed the major like 5 times. So that made me feel a whole lot better. But, yeah, I changed it to psych. And then I was like, you know what? I think I want to do psychology. Like, this will be interesting. I'll be able to like my classes. And then I realized that psychology is a lot. It's very intensive and it's really interesting, but it was very heavy for me. It was like very like a lot of everything. It was just my brain could not. No, it wasn't. I don't know. And I also was like, what am I gonna do with a psych degree? That's cool, but if you want to get into like what you want to do, like therapy, like you'll have to get more. And I knew I was barely getting my fucking bachelor's. I was like, dude, what? I'm not doing this. So, anyways, I changed it again to the liberal arts because I was like, I want to be a teacher. I'll be a preschool teacher. Like, I was working with kids at this point now. I had taken, I was kind of doing okay with classes, like somewhat. And then I went through a crazy, crazy life change while I was like in this process of trying to do the liberal art major. Most insane, like, just like, I was just going through it, right? I was like, again, I can't be in school, like, I'm not mentally here, I can't do it. And then, I was completely just like, school was not even my brain. I was like, well, I'll think about that later. I'll just think about it later, like, whatever. I have other things I'm focusing on, okay? And I'm having a job, so I'm fine, And I pushed it back, and I was like, it's fine, and that's not good. That's not good, So I was like, and I was still living out in the city that I was, originally out just in school for. Living out there, partying, having fun, with my roommates, making friends, having a social life a little bit, and I was prioritizing that. And I just was like, you know what, school's on the back burner, like, I'll figure that out later, like, when it comes. And you know what, honestly, that did work out because I did figure it out. So, but I was just, like, lost as fuck. I didn't know what I wanted to do, bro. I was like, what? I don't know what to do, so what am I going to go to school for, I even thought about doing cosmetology school, I was thinking about doing trade schools. It was a lot of fucking things, it was a lot. So, anyways, I finally was like, I need to actually do something. Hey, that's insane, no shade, no shade at all, but for me, I was like, I'm watching all these other people around me, starting to graduate, and I'm like, shit, like, not even just like out of jealousy, kind of just like, shit, I do want to get myself on some sort of path so I feel better. So I was like, you know what, this is the hardest decision ever. Okay, it is. but I'm gonna move home because what the fuck am I living out here having my parents help me pay rent in a place that I don't even, go to school for? Like, come on, I was, it was so crazy. Um, so I was like, I'm moving home, I moved back home with my parents. It was really fucking hard to leave that life behind because that's what I knew, that's what I liked, that's what I loved, and to kind of just leave it in the past, it was like, that's crazy. So it was hard because I'm just like, sometimes change, I'm just like, oh, scary. But anyways, I moved home and I started going to community college there, and I just started taking classes. I was like, at least I can get my AA, like, I'll feel better, and I don't have to, I could just pick something simple. So I picked communications, and that's a whole nother reason or video or fucking story time about, that major and why I picked it and all those things. But I found it was broad and I liked that. And so I was like, I'm just gonna get my AA. This is a really broad subject, let me do it, So I was like, what, if I tell myself I can do it, why wouldn't I not be able to do it? You know what I mean? Like, the things you tell yourself become your reality. So if you sit here and you tell yourself, which was what I was doing, I can't do school. School is just so fucking hard. Like, it's just harder for me than everybody else. Like, I just struggle so much. This is so hard for me. This is just so undoable. That was what I was telling myself. That was my brain and my thoughts. Like, girl, you know what I mean? Like, girl, stop. And so basically I stopped telling myself that. It was like, okay, that's crazy talk. Like, I'm not saying that anymore. I'm gonna just put my mind to it. If I have a little goal here to get my AA, which I already had half of because I still had credits for those, whatever years. I was like, I still have credits. Let me just lock in and do it. It'll be a year. It'll be hard, but it'll be worth it to at least feel accomplished. Hey, at least I got something, I still got something. And so I knew that if I could conquer that little thing, I could feel better and possibly do more. So I was like, okay, sure. Anyways, so I go home and I get that AA. I did. I was like, this is what I want to. Also, I work in a restaurant still. But at that time I was working in a restaurant, and no shame to the restaurant industry at all. No shame. No shade, no tea, no nothing. It's great for me right now. Working there is great. I get what I need. But for me, I wasn't trying to stay there long term. I never have been. And that's just my personal feelings. I was just like, I don't love it enough to stay here, do this. So I just always had a different plan for myself, I think. And so I kind of wanted to stick to that plan of something else. And I, getting my AA, like, it was only a year of credits because I already had half, but it was like, if you could make a small little goal for yourself, like, let me do this one thing. And this applies to everything, honestly. It doesn't apply to just a grade. It's like, if I can get this one thing done, imagine how many other little things I can get done that aren't little things, but if you look at it like, this is something that's doable, this is something that is not unattainable, and you tell yourself that, you have to tell yourself, hey, I can do that. Hey, that's actually not unattainable because you're really capable, and you have this talk with yourself. You have this belief within yourself, okay? Beliefs. Change your attitude. Change your attitude. I had such a bad attitude about it. I was like, I cannot do it. I just will never be able to. I don't know how people do it. I can't do it. It was this like never ending, like, annoying ass thought in my brain. I didn't shut it off until I did. And then it was like, yo, dude, this is doable. You just have to do your best. Like, and this is the most cliche advice ever, but it's like, school's not impossible. You know what I mean? It's not impossible. It is doable if you apply yourself and you say, hey, you know what? This is what I want for myself. This is what I'm going to do to get there. It's going to be a little hard, and I'm going to do whatever I can, though. You know what I mean? And let's say I'm not getting the best grades. I'm not the best student, whatever it is. As long as I'm showing up and putting in effort, where you put your effort in your life is so important. You know what I mean? It's so important. And so if you put your effort, let's say these 4 years of your life, you have 4 years, okay, to lock in. You give it all. You give it your all. that's such a small amount of time to just conquer that one thing. And like for me, getting a degree now isn't even so much like so I could have better opportunities, which I hope it will help me get better opportunities. Like, of course, that's a hope. But for me, it's almost like, let me prove this to myself that I can do this thing that I thought was impossible. Let me just do it, because for the hell of it at this point, like, so I'm going to school now, and I have about a year left of classes. Should be. If everything goes to plan, you know, it should be a year. In the grand scheme of things, I'm like, overall, the effort that I wasn't putting in was like so hard compared to like the effort that you can put in, if that makes any sense. Like, it's so much harder to genuinely like not put effort into something and like actively not care than to just like full force just like put your effort into it. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense at all? Maybe it doesn't. But like I was actively like trying to fucking fail, basically. Like you have to, you know, everything's action. So it's like if you're avoiding, let's say school, let's say you're just like have a fucking attitude about it, that's harder than to just be like, no, I signed up for this, like let me just do what is expected of me, you know. I was like literally choosing to fucking do nothing. I was choosing to fucking be like, well, fuck school, you know, well, I don't know what I want, so I'm just not gonna do it, you know. It's so easy to have that mindset when you're in it, I guess. And I think a lot of this has to do with my mental states and, you know, the ebbs and flows of them and being at different stages of life too. There's so many factors that come into it. But I would say the biggest thing for me has been changing my attitude about it. And, you know, just really realizing that, like, it's not impossible for me. And it never was impossible for me. You know what I mean? Like, it is, like, you can do a lot harder shit than you give yourself credit for most of the time. I would say most people, this is true for most people. I just was undermining the fuck out of myself. I was just like, this is too much. And it sounds so crazy. Maybe this sounds insane. If you don't feel this way about school, or if you didn't, you know. But like, I was like, this is really hard. Like, this is incredibly hard, and I am not going to be able to do it. And I always just thought, I think because I'm also neurodivergent, and like having ADHD does make you feel like the world is against you. Like, not really, but like it makes you feel like shit can be really impossible to get done. And I was just like, I'm cooked. I'm genuinely cooked. Like, there's just no way. But now looking back, like, there was always a fucking way. You know, it's like, are you gonna choose to do the hard thing? Or are you gonna choose to, you know, sit in your ways of being stubborn and like not wanting to like do something for yourself, you know? I think I'm in a better place now, emotionally and mentally, so I think that also helps my like willingness to like show up for myself, because I think that was a big thing. I was like, do I really have to, you know, do this thing for myself? Like, I'd rather just not give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It was so easy to just slip into that. But it's not good. No good, you know? But I can say now I'm like happy that I'm doing school, and that, you know, yeah, it's fucking hard. Like, nobody said that shit was easy. Like, yeah, it's fucking hard, and it's actually genuinely draining, and annoying. And like, it's near the end of the semester right now, and I'm like, whoa, why am I absolutely drained? Like, why have I been so stressed? Why have I had so many headaches? Like, there's so much just like hell. Like, it feels like hell a little bit, you know? But also, it's not a big deal. Like, that's how you have to view things sometimes to get through them, is like, dude, come on. You're in college and you're at the end of your semester. Is it really that bad? Like, you know, everybody's doing it and everybody else is doing it. So just fucking do it, lock in, finish it, have a good break. Like, that's what I'm telling myself, is like, this is the worst of it, and get shit done, bro. Get shit done. And then you'll feel so much better when, you know, you're like, just wait till you get the fucking reward of this bitch. Like, literally, like, I need to reward myself for everything. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, get this semester through, girl. And like, I'm about to go spend some money on myself. Like, no, I'm proud of myself. I am. And like, I have had a successful school semester for the first time in like my whole life. I mean, obviously at community college, they were like pretty good semesters, but like at a university, I've never had a good semester where I've passed like hopefully everything. I've never had that. And so it's like very cool, I think, to finally, I guess, like see the past version of myself who was like not locked in, and then me who's like locked in. It's pretty cool. And it's just helped. I've just applied this mindset to like so much of my life. You know what I mean? Like, it really has changed my perspective. And you know, I'm not like, I don't wake up every day and I'm like, school, help, like school. Like, it's not the first thing on my mind. No, it's not at all. But it is something I am doing. And, you know, like, I feel like viewing it as also like school is not my whole life, because it's absolutely not. That has also helped me. I fill my time up with a lot of other things, you know. But I'm also a person that likes to stay a little busy. So I think it helps that I, you know, have school, and then I also have work and, you know, all these other aspects of my life, you know, that help me stay kind of busy everywhere. Like having different things, you know, I don't like to focus on just one thing. But I've also realized just a lot about my personality and the way that I, you know, need things in my life. And I also just was like doing online, and then I like wasn't in person, and like I, you know, wasn't really involved, you know, all these things. So you gotta learn yourself. If you're young, if you're, you know, let's say like struggling with school, or like don't know where to go, like genuinely you're just like, dude, take it from me that like you'll figure it out. No matter what it takes, like you'll figure it out. And don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up, because bro, this shit isn't easy, you know. Like I said, like nobody prepares you for like this shit, you know. And like also just the idea of like after you graduate, like you're meant to just go into the world, like help. That's so insane and so scary. Like that is just so terrifying, and we don't talk about that enough. And so just believe in yourself that you could fucking do it, because it's doable. Sorry, not to be a bitch, okay, but I've seen some of the dumbest people graduate, and I just tell myself like, if they can do it, and I'm not even trying to be like a dick, but I'm just like in my brain, it's like that individual can do it. Like, what makes me think that I cannot do it, you know? And like, love and light to those people, but I'm just like, think about like someone in your life that you're just like, holy shit, like they're so dumb and they graduated, and you're like, dude, I can do it, you know? Maybe that's a crazy analogy, or a crazy, you maybe shouldn't compare yourself like that, but to me it made me see it from a different perspective of like, hey girl, you got this, like you literally got this, trust, you got this, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think I covered everything. And yeah, it's just about finding also just what you want to do in school, because that's also just like really hard, like figuring out the career you want to go into, the area, the field. Like, how are we supposed to know that, you know, at the ripe age of 18, you know? I barely just figured out the kind of field I want to go into, and I'm 23, you know what I mean? Most people have already graduated my age, you know, who went on track with the 18, you know, after high school, whole deal. But I just figured out what I wanted to do, and I am 23 years old. So, that's crazy, but also not at all. It's very common, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. So, yeah, I don't know, I've always kind of felt like I was meant for a lot of different things, and so it was just complex figuring out the areas I wanted to go into. But now I have a clear view. I think I understand myself more, and the more you understand yourself, the more you figure out what you want, what you like, what you want to do. So I'd also recommend just like getting in touch with yourself, really in touch with yourself. Like, I mean, really in touch with yourself. Like, I was so disconnected to who I really was, I think, within those years. And I just couldn't find myself, truly. I was just like, you know, and now I'm kind of discovered who I am. That sounds so like adult, like, you know, but I think I did. I think I've truly found a little bit more of myself these days, and I just know what I want for myself now. Like, I didn't know that, you know. So if you don't know what you want yet, don't be ashamed of it. Don't punish yourself for it. Like, you will figure it out. You will figure it out. Like, everybody does in time, you know. But yeah, lock in and like change your mindsets, change your beliefs, and just try to have a good attitude about things ultimately. Even though, yeah, it's fucking hard, I get it. Try to not look at things in like a pessimistic view of like, oh, why did I do that? Like, oh my god, like, why did I not? Why? I wish I, you know, I wish I knew what I wanted. I wish I would have done better. I wish I regret, you know, stop. Stop. That is my number one thing that I could recommend is like, do not talk to yourself fucking negatively about that shit. You'll talk yourself out of it. You'll talk yourself out of feeling like you're capable of doing fucking anything, you know? And you'll figure it out. So, this has gotten way longer than I anticipated it to be. So, I'm gonna go to bed. It's literally 1 a.m. I always have these thoughts to do videos at like the most random times of the day. I'm like, 12:45. I'm just like sitting on my phone. I'm like, let me go record a video. Or it'll be like I'm driving and I'm like, let me record a video. I'm like, girl, I don't know. The flow state just enters me at times and I don't choose when. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening and being here this little moment with me. So, bye.